going on YouTube? It's CJ. That's right. I'm finally back after a little over 2 years away from the hobby. Same guy that loves Green Bay. Eazy mug. I wonder who still got the Eazy mugs. If you do, drop a comment. But we back, baby. And for those wondering where I was, enjoyed life, needed a break from the hobby. I was able to focus on, family, coaching youth football, which was a major passion of mine. We won nationals down in Florida. Absolutely crazy. For those that want to see, I'll drop a link in the comments for watching that live stream and that video. But man, I have enjoyed the break and it's time to come back, baby. So for those that are new to the channel, no idea who I am, go back, feel free to scroll through older playlists. We got multiple builds going back from our freshwater days, 75-gallon Boona tank, to my first attempts at saltwater, the 37-gallon cube, I believe. Then I moved on to the JBJ 45-gallon, and then the 120-gallon SCA system, then the JBJ 65-gallon flat panel, which was the last system, and now we are finally on to the new build, which is going to be the Innovative Marine 75-gallon EXT, also external overflow tank. So, man, if you're wanting to see a build from beginning to end, from putting it together, aquascaping, cycling, adding livestock course for the first time, how to maintain it, or at least how I'm gonna maintain it, because I'm not an expert, you guys know that. But what I will do is give you the real, the down, the dirty, the successes, the failures. You're gonna see it all on this channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. So for those that already know me, you guys wanna skip all this. You wanna get right to the build. So we're gonna go ahead and get to it. Without further ado, Innovative Marine 75-gallon build. Let's go. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. It's gonna be the quick unboxing, time lapse of the Innovative Marine ABS stand, which was very well made right out of the box. And they did not shy away from protecting this thing. I was peeling all kinds of plastic and tape and all kinds of things off of each side of each piece, which took a little bit of time, but I do appreciate them trying to, protect your investment. Now, when it comes to putting it together, very neat interlocking channel system. They actually include the tool in the box, so I didn't have to use anything else besides what was included to put this entire stand together. So pretty neat. Figured I'd share that with you guys. Now, it's not going to be a step-by-step, C1, C2, A, put this there kind of thing. I'm just kind of sharing a time lapse of my experience with putting this stand together for the very first time. I did watch the Innovative Marine YouTube page, tried to follow the instructions to the best of my abilities, but I will tell you, mistakes were definitely made. It wasn't until I realized that you were assembling the tank on its side and had to flip it, but then I realized that the ABS sign, the little symbol, was on the wrong side, and then the doors, the parts that the door hinges are, were on the wrong side. So I had to disassemble, put it together, flip it on its side, do it a couple of times, take a drink, think about it, and realize what went wrong before I was finally able to get this thing assembled correctly, including the drawer, including everything that comes with it. So the good news is those little locking mechanisms make it very easy to take apart or make small adjustments, making sure the frame's square, making sure things are tight. You have the freedom and the ability of doing those things. But I will tell you, have some patience. And if Innovative Marine is watching this video, I got some great ideas for some updated instructions that may make it a little easier for anyone else that has had issues building a stand like me. And here we go, guys. Stand's finally assembled. And one thing I will tell you, when you're popping these doors open, try your best to press in the middle of the door to engage both the top and bottom magnetic locking mechanisms that make them open. That's something I figured I'd share, I learned with you guys. And as far as the stand itself, man, one word, very accessible. 2 words actually, but you guys get the point. You can open the front, the sides, you can get to this thing from all angles. Never had a stand like this, never had a stand that was so lightweight and accessible. So I'm really digging the potential, as far as servicing for future equipment and whatever else I have to do underneath the tank. And the way I have it placed, I should be able to get to all sides of it. So it's gonna be an up close look at the stand, guys. It still is a little dusty from putting it together, but it will give you guys an idea of the finish and the quality of it. And I gotta tell you guys, it really gives a different feel. just my first impressions, it's more of a modern look than the traditional wood stands that I've had before, which has pretty much been almost every system, either particle board stands, which were not as sturdy, you know, the solid wood stands, which are nice, but they're heavy as hell. This is like, it looks good, it's lightweight, and it's strong. So, I mean, I don't think you can beat it. And after having my first aluminum stand, I don't think I really want to go back to a wood stand. Besides, you know, putting it together and the assembly headache, the finished result, I would say, is definitely worth it. So if you guys are on the fence, you know, you're new to the hobby or you're considering going aluminum, I would say go for it. You know, just make sure that you make sure it's square, make sure everything's put together the right way. After that, the finished result is well worth it. So let's go ahead and dive underneath the stand, and it looks like underneath a stand, guys. It's not really exciting. Nothing down here to really show you guys yet, but I do want to point out a couple of things. One, the actual shelf is adjustable. So you just turn the notch on these little metal brackets, and you can raise and lower the shelf to your own height of preference. For me, I just kind of put it where I thought it would be, but until I get a sump under here and equipment, I really won't know where I need it permanently. The next thing I want to mention to you guys, on the bottom, when you're assembling the tank, you have to slide this board into the stand and seat it on the bottom on the support bars, which is very difficult to do with the little door stoppers that are already on the stand. So it wasn't until I realized you gotta unscrew that, turn it a little bit, give yourself room, slide the board in, tighten it back down, that, you know, everything came together like it should. So I want to point that out for anyone that is going to have this stand. Make sure you pay attention to that. Last but not least, the only problem that I've noticed is going to be no real waterproofing down here. So any leaks is going to go straight around that board onto the floor. I think a quick remedy that I've seen a lot of people do with these stands is using pond liner. So I have put an order in for pond liner, and I will be doing a little do-it-yourself waterproofing down here before I add equipment in the sump. And the last thing I want to mention, the accessibility of the side doors. I can already see how this is going to be major as far as adding things to the system or removing the sump if I have to. I've had systems in the past where there were support bars you can remove when the system was dry, and then once you filled it up, that support bar was in place, there was no removing, no sumps or any large pieces of equipment. So these side doors are going to be major, major, major when it comes to future tank maintenance and, you know, accessibility. Let's go ahead and take a look at the tank. Now, I got to be honest with you guys. I've had multiple systems from, you know, Marineland, SCA, JBJ, and, you know, a few different used tanks I've had in my time in the hobby. And this probably is the most well-built that I've seen, at least out of the box. And by well-built, I'm talking about the thickness of the glass, the clarity, at least with no water in it, and the seams. The seams is what I'm really concerned with as far as systems. Very thick silicone seams all the way around. And it looks, I mean, it's just a solid tank, guys. I don't know what to say. I mean, the weight of the tank was different than a previous 75 I had before, which I can pick up pretty easy. This one, really struggled with it. And if I had to move this again, definitely will recruit some additional help with getting this tank up and down off the stand. So now I will tell you this. One thing I'm not sure about is going to be the durability of it, meaning does it scratch easy? You know, if I put a razor on it, try to scratch some Coralline, am I going to scratch the tank? You know, mag scrapers, how is that going to hold up? Not sure yet. You know, the jury's still out on that. But one thing I do want to mention, if you can see on the bottom, it does include a self-leveling mat that's actually made on the bottom of the tank. It's like an extra layer for imperfections, you know, any additional pressure points. So I think that's a nice feature they included as well. So overall, final thoughts, at least first thoughts, a very, very well-made tank. I'm looking forward to putting water in it. So for those curious about, you know, the overflow, where is it at? On the back of the tank, guys. For those that don't know about plumbing or how these things work, they sell two different kinds. One is going to be the INT, where the overflows inside the tank. They have different styles coast to coast. And then they have the EXT. Now, my entire time in the hobby, I've always wanted an external overflow. So I was very happy to finally get my hands on the tank that features it. Now, this is a little different than before. You know, I've always used Herbie style overflows before, you know, which is one main siphon and one emergency drain. This includes a Being Animal style, which is two emergency drains and one full siphon. So extra layer of protection, which is cool with me. You know, we'll get this plumbed up. We'll get it looking good like usual when it comes to making things efficient and functional and, you know, just the way I like to do my tanks. But one thing I will mention, if you want something up against the wall, probably not the tank for you. There's no way around it, no ifs, ands, or buts. This is gonna sit across the wall probably about 4 or 5 inches. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're gonna go with the EXT. But for me, I'd rather sacrifice space outside the tank to gain space inside the tank. And that's gonna be the main reason I chose an external overflow. My entire time in the hobby, never been able to take advantage of aquascaping the entire footprint of the tank itself, meaning don't have to work around any overflows, no potential dead spots as far as on the side of overflows. I mean, it's just so many benefits of having a system with nothing inside, just space, opportunity. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of, you know, ideas I can come up with to take advantage of this. But overall, I mean, I like the footprint, 3 feet wide, you know, almost 2 feet as far as front to back. I mean, plenty of room, plenty of width. And with me working with some restrictions as far as my living situation in an apartment, I can't go humongous. But if you're gonna have a smaller tank, I like a footprint that gives me depth front to back so I can create those, you know, aesthetics as far as aquascaping and the illusions of a bigger system. So with all that being said, that's gonna be the quick first, you know, initial thoughts on the Innovative Marine 75-gallon EXT system. I'm looking forward to setting this thing up. I got a ton of equipment to share with you guys, unboxings, you know, plumbing this thing, lighting, aquascaping, all of that is coming. So I'm not gonna stretch this video out anymore. It's a dry tank. You guys seen what you came to see. We are finally back in business, baby. So as always, hey, like, comment, subscribe. You guys keep doing what y'all do. Y'all be easy and happy reefing. Peace.